If it doesn't work, get a bigger hammer. These are the ones I was having problems with. I thought this day was going to be a lot harder than it actually was. I was dreading removing the roof, although some parts of it did end up being pretty hard.
Well, thank God most of them are screws and coming out easy. Saves us a lot of headache.
So as Barbie said, there were a lot of screws. It was a torque screw, but the problem was there was hundreds of them. Maybe even thousands. Hurt your arm from holding it up so long. And as aptly stated, my arms got sore just from holding up the drill for so long, trying to get these things out. And after a while, the edges started wearing out on the bits. That's why every once in a while you hear that burr sound. I easily went through a half a dozen bits.
So Chuck already has all of the screws out of the walls, but we're going to have to cut off the panels from the top because they're actually underneath the windows right now. And we're not ready to take those out.
So Barbara's actually talking about removing the walls. We haven't removed them yet because in order to get the walls out, you got to pull the windows out because the wall goes up, lips over, and comes underneath the window. And there's screws underneath there. So the only way to remove the wall is to literally take all the windows out. I think I might have figured out a workaround to get around that. So the workaround involves actually buying a new tool. I haven't told Barbie that yet though, so shh, it's a secret. So I went to start removing the roof, had all the screws out, and I started pulling it out. And that's when I realized that the metal was also held by a little metal clip, about 5 of them across the tops. And I just could not pull them out. They were in there really so tight. So I basically just got a hammer and a cold chisel and worked the majority of them out. Just when I thought my arm and shoulder was tired from holding the drill up, trying to undo 1,000 screws, then I started swinging a 5-pound sledge. But I made short work order of most of those little clips until I get to the very end. And that's where I realized there were some screws there that had been stripped out. Initially I thought I could just pull them out of the ceiling, but I quickly learned that was not the case. Dad always said if you had the right tool for the job would be real easy. So after donning the appropriate PPE or personal protection equipment, I got out the angle grinder and started grinding away. But there was something that happened that I didn't really expect. When I started running the grinder, my dog Nico, my male shepherd, he didn't like that sound.
Nico doesn't like it when Daddy's drilling stuff off.
So as much as I love Bubblicious, which is one of his many nicknames, the job still had to get done. So I was able to grind the heads off the screws, but they were still kind of stuck. So I went back to the cold chisel and a hammer to do the separation. And after a few hammers and getting into those clips, I was able to knock them loose. But this thing just did not want to let go. I was getting pretty frustrated and trying to control not swinging the hammer as hard as I could.
So you've got it ground off, it's still not coming off?
The reason we wanted to remove the roof is actually twofold. One, I wanted to remove the insulation and replace it with new insulation, and also check to see if there's any water damage or rust. And then the other reason is we're going to put up a different material up on the ceiling. We're still thinking about different types of materials and stuff and haven't made a final decision, but we don't want to have the metal roof. We want to have a more of a cabin or a home type of feel. Don't set the heavy metal on your foot. Advice number 1 for tearing out a roof in the bus. The only ceiling panels remaining are the ones at the very front and the back of the bus. And the reason they're still there is because I got to remove the ceiling mounted AC units that came with the bus. And that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. That'll be the next video. Still trying to figure it out.